Hey y'all, we're on the next to last week of season 3 of the Andy Griffith Show. The week number is 31, and the episode title is Mountain Wedding. Barney, what's up this week?
Andy and I seen Driscoll Darling's truck parked in town. And we go in the courthouse and we see Driscoll in there waiting on us. He tells us that Ernest T. Dass has been causing trouble for Driscoll's daughter Charlene and her new husband Dud. Ernest T. don't take to their being married. He don't believe their marriage is real. He's been yelling at them, throwing rocks, and Andy says he and I will go up there first thing in the morning to see whether we can't help out. And so I slept in the courthouse that night, so as Andy and I can get an early start for our long drive up into the mountains the next day.
But Andy has a hard time getting you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But he finally does, and y'all drive up there.
And when we get to the general area, we just follow the sound of the bluegrass music that we hear. And we find their house, and we go in and we say hi to Driscoll, and then hi to Charlene, and then hi to the Doys. The Doys are Charlene's brothers. And then Dud comes in, and Charlene offers us some hog duck down or some fish nuddle to eat, but we say no. And then Dud says Ernest T. will probably be around sometime soon to cause trouble, so while we're waiting, Andy and Driscoll and the Doys play a song on their guitar called Dooley.
And while y'all are playing, or while they're playing, Ernest T. throws a rock through the window with a note attached to it. Charlene, I still love you and I want you. Ernest T. Bass. So y'all go out there to have a talk with him.
And we see him behind a bush, and we tell him to come out. And I yell, "You better do as you're told, fella. This is the law speaking." And he goes up to Ernest T. and he shows him the marriage certificate. And Ernest T. says because Andy's not a preacher, the marriage isn't real. And that Ernest T. should still be able to try to charm Charlene. And Andy says, okay, we'll get a married dying preacher. And the circuit preacher will die tomorrow because it's Sunday, and he can do it then. And Ernest T. goes off skitting and laughing and yelling that he's still got 24 hours. And Andy says he's strange and weird. Driscoll says he's just plain ornery. And I say, I think he's a nut.
And that night y'all stay overnight with them so you can see the preacher the next day and get the ceremony done. But Briscoe and the boys are snoring so bad y'all can't get to sleep. So Andy and you say, Andy tells you, try turning them over on their sides. So y'all do that, and it seems to work for a while.
But then they all start snoring again. And then Ernest T. throws a rock and breaks a window again. And Andy yells out the window at him that he'll arrest him if he don't stop. And I yell, you listen to me out there. This is Deputy Fife speaking, and I'm armed. Yeah, if you don't go away, I'm just liable to take a shot out this window. But then he breaks another window with a rock, and then another. So Andy has Charlene come to the window so maybe Ernest T. can talk to her and get it out of the system. And he serenades her, and then he does a chin-up for her, and she says, that's good, Ernest T. Now good night.
But he keeps on. Says he wants a kiss from her. So Dud yells at him to go away. They're getting married by a preacher the next day just to please him. And Ernest T. says, you all just think that's what you're going to do, and that you haven't heard the last of him.
And the next day, everyone gets all dressed up for the wedding. And another rock comes and breaks another window. And this time the note says, maybe your wedding won't have a bride. And Andy says he has an idea on how to deal with that threat. His idea is to have me dress up as the bride, so Ernest T. kidnaps me during the wedding, instead of Charlene. And before I take my veil off, and he realizes it's me, he tells me I was meant to be his. And I say, I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on earth.
And finally y'all get Ernest T. to accept the validity of their marriage.
But then he wants to dance with me at the reception. And I say, get out of here. Andy, Ernest T., your son kind of a nut.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week for the last episode of Season 3, Week 32.